alive. It's 14th July. So hi. Let me try and see if I can watch myself so I can read your comments, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Hi. So do I move here? Okay, I should move here slightly so you all see me. Give me a second. Let me slightly adjust my self. Hold on. Things a bit closer to me. Huh? All right. Okay. This is. What am I too far? Okay. So yes, welcome everyone. Hold on. Give me a second. Adjusting my overall logistics for all of you. Hi. Full stop is here. Okay. I see everything. Okay, I am obviously well positioned now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live session. Today is 14th of July. We are actually halfway through the month, and so first things first, it's the first day for the O-level oral examination. A very big congratulations to all our students who braved today's oral exam. Congratulations for braving today's exam. We are actually posting the examination questions soon, along with model responses, ladies and gentlemen, so that those of you who are doing day 2, day 3, day 4, or day 5, you can continue predicting questions and continue revising for what's about to come using the questions we are posting in real time daily. So thank you so much to our Righteous at Work students and teachers for allowing us to be able to post these questions real time for the benefit of all our O-level students. Yes, welcome everyone. Welcome. So yes, congratulations. Of course, this is just the beginning. The upcoming days for the rest of the weekdays for this week, O-level oral English will continue. So let's continue revising. And our PSLE students are, of course, continuing to revise. So that is why I'm continuing to do paper 2 and oral sessions with all of you so we can all revise together. We are officially in the examination season. I know you can all feel it. Yes. So one quick reminder to all of you, Righteous at Work is currently running a 12+2 promotion. So if you sign up for 12 lessons today, up until the 31st of August, you will actually get 2 additional free lessons from us to help you go for a more targeted practice just before your examinations or prepare you for the future, whatever that future you're preparing yourself for is. But here we are, we're trying our best to help you build very good techniques in learning English, both in writing, both in speaking, and in comprehension and so on. So join us here for our ongoing promotions for PSLE. And so if you can see right here, you can see the racetrack. We are purposely offering this promotion for all of you because we understand that you need a more targeted practice, especially with O levels already starting, but you still have time to prepare, for example, for your paper 1 and 2, and most especially for PSLE as well. This coming August, that would mean to say 1 month more, and your PSLE oral will start. At the same time, in September, you will be having your paper 1 and 2 for English. So yes, we are definitely continuing to revise. I'll be here with you throughout. Righteous at Work will be with you. So for today, do we have some people online? Hello, or some O-level students online actually. Hi. How have you been all today? We'll do some revisions together for today. So yes, welcome to those of you. Yes, today we're doing paper 2 plus oral as well. If there are some secondary students there, hello, welcome, and primary students as well. So for today, I'm going to start with some paper 2 questions. But of course, paper 2 questions, and then we proceed to oral, sample oral questions that we can go through, which will fit preparation for PSLE. But at the same time, O-level students, secondary 4 students who are still in the midst of preparing for their own O-level oral day, feel free to join us. This is very relevant for you to help you um, revise different angles on how you can tackle sample questions from commonly tested themes for oral examination. Hello, welcome, welcome, people, welcome. Okay, people are in. Hi. Are you all ready to answer some grammar questions and vocabulary questions before we try to do some oral questions? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, everyone, I'm gonna start with a couple, huh? Let's see. Hello, hello, welcome. Thank you for liking the live. Okay, let's start with a few grammar questions and test yourself. If you want to try, feel free to give this one a try. And let's see. Abram and Noah blank each other at the camp last week. So we're starting off with a very easy question because you have a very big clue there that should help you with the response, the correct answer for this one. Now, anyone who wants to give this number a try, feel free to drop in your answer. If you're unsure, it's fine. Who wants to give this number a try? Please feel free to drop it in. Still also in the midst of, you know. Yes, anyone? This is an easy question, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome. Kanjana goes for number 3. I see. So you're saying Abram and Noah befriended each other at the camp last week. Kanjana, smart, smart, smart. Of course, I think you see, so thick, my pen, so thick. You can see the big clue right there last week that tells you we're supposed to use past tense, right? And so you are correct. The answer is indeed number 3. Well done. Okay, we're starting off very easy and nice. Well done. Now let's proceed to the next question. The king was sad as he did not have blank freedom to explore the land. Okay. Now you are being tested on quantifiers here. Quantifier. Yeah, so 2 steps that you always have to follow. Feel free to drop in your answer. By the way, Kanjana, wow, Kanjana goes for number 2. Check the modified noun. Okay, check the modified noun. So in this case, the noun we are modifying is freedom. So ask yourself, is freedom countable or uncountable? What do you think, Kanjana? Is freedom a countable noun, like countable noun like 1 pencil, 2 pencils, 3 pencils, or is freedom an uncountable noun? Okay, because that would help you eliminate some responses in the choices. Okay, so freedom is what? Countable or uncountable? Izzy says uncountable. You are correct. From that answer alone, we can already cancel few and many, because few and many can be used only for countable nouns. Okay, so we're left with little and much, which brings you to step number 2. Check the context. When I say context, you have to go back to the question and understand whether you need a high amount of freedom or a low amount of freedom, correct? So I'm going to read the sentence again. The king was sad as he did not have, okay, blank freedom to explore the land. I think from there you got it correctly, Kanjana. The answer is he did not have much freedom to explore the land. Very good. Now, moving on to number 3. The teacher's words of encouragement were still blank in her ears. I see, I see. You do have, okay, obviously you're being tested here on different word forms. You have to choose which one is the best, but I can give you a clue. Your clue is that the word still is here. Still actually says something about what the answer should be. Okay, Izzy goes for number 4. We're still, and then for Izzy, you're saying we're still ringing in her ears. How about Kanjana? You're still there. Do you want to give this one a try and see if you agree with Izzy's answer? Or you have a different one? Hello, hello. Welcome to those of you. Is it ongoing? It is still ongoing or happening? I see. Thank you for giving also a justification to your answer, Izzy. Correct. You are very right in that sense. You have two big checks, both for giving me the right answer and for explaining it. Still here actually gives you a clue that an action began in the past. In the past and is still ongoing. You are right. Ongoing. So we need the continuous form, which is the one with the ing in the end. You are correct. That's number 4. Well done. Now, everyone, let's move on to number 4. The show blank. Please be quiet. Ooh. Okay, the show blank. Please be quiet. Anyone who wants to give this one a try? So, Izzy, okay, Izzy goes for number 3. Now, again, you're being tested on tense here. Yeah. The first one, the show begins, right? This is simple present tense. Now, can this be the answer? This tense does not convey that it has already started, so it's not the answer. Okay, so Izzy, you're closer to the right answer. The show beginning, we cannot say the show beginning. It will need a linking verb. So also to cannot. Because beginning cannot stand alone. Okay, has begun and had begun. So paranoid TCG also goes for number 3. So number 3, has begun, is present perfect. And had begun is past perfect. Now, first things first, past perfect, when you use had, right? You always need 2 past actions in the sentence. You use past perfect for when you talk about 2 past actions, one happened after the other. In this sentence, there's only 1 action, so it's not number 4. Hi, I love Elmo. Hi to you. So paranoid, TCG, and Izzy, you are correct. We need present perfect. Why? Because when you use present perfect, you actually want to talk about, you want to say that the action, the show started recently. And it affects the present moment. So this is one of the uses of present perfect. Listen carefully. When you use has and have, right, it's the present perfect form, this is for actions that started in the past and is still ongoing in the present, or it just recently started, it just recently happened, and it's relevant in the present time. We need that because the line "please be quiet" tells you that what recently happened, which is the starting of the show, is relevant to the present time. Okay, so you are correct. It is indeed number 3. Good job. Okay, do I have a bell? Okay, I don't have a bell. I like to ting, 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 ting. Okay, it's okay. Okay, number 5, halfway through your grammar question. Good job, people. If Rajan blank about the competition, he would definitely take part in it. New knows, oh my God, this set of questions are going hard on tenses. Let's see if you know the answer. Okay, this also actually talks about conditionals. Now, paranoid goes with, I have a question. Yes, related to the grammar question. Yes, denial. Feel free to ask. Okay. So paranoid says 1, D says 4. So this one, you see the word if, right? You know you're being tested on conditionals. Remember, I always tell you conditional type 1. If I can, I will. This is for things that will likely to happen. If I study, I will pass. You know what I mean? Conditional type 2, if I could, I would. So this is for like wishes, hypothetical situations. So if I studied, now the if statement is past tense, I would pass. Okay? The third type is if I had studied, I would have passed. For these are situations that already happened, so it would sound more like a remorse. Okay. From there, you would see would take part. Okay. Now, from this alone, you would know that you need type 2 conditional, which is if I could, I would, right? So in that if statement, the if statement is past. Okay. So we answer number 1. Okay. Paranoid TCG, good. Okay, this is only tricky if you don't master your conditionals. So I always tell my students for conditionals, right? I'll tell you the trick to make sure you get this answer correctly every single time, or you get conditionals answer correctly every single time you take them. If it's every single time they ask you this type of question. Now, copy this. This is what I usually tell my students. Memorize these 3 sentences. And so if you memorize these 3 sentences, you will always know which conditional type you're dealing with. Okay? So type 1, the one I said is if I can, I will. That would mean to say if your if statement is present tense, your second statement will be future tense. Now, conditional type 2 would be if I could, I would. This time around, your if statement will be simple past. So you use would for your second statement. And then the third one, I like to guilt trip my students. So I get them to memorize this. If I had studied, I would have passed. So you will notice that your if statement is past perfect, had plus past participle, and then would have passed for your second statement. Now, if you memorize these 3 lines, right, you will know that your second statement only uses would. It does not say would have or would not have. That would mean to say you are using conditional type 2. So that's how you know if I could, I would. I need a simple past for my if statement. And that's how you know you need to use number 1, if Rajan knew. Okay? So that is why paranoid TCG, you will always get conditionals question correctly, whether they test you with conditional type 1, type 2, or type 3, if you memorize these 3 sentences. This is the trick I teach my students all the time. So they get conditional questions correctly every time they do grammar MCQ. Yeah. So let's move on to number 6. Now, Now, number 6, everyone, Mr. and Mrs. Reyes, blank sailing around the world for charity and will end their journey next month. Wow. Another round of tenses, people. Okay. Now, one important clue. Hello, Dash. One important clue here is will end their journey next month. I'm highlighting an important clue for you. Hello, Dash. Welcome to you. Hope life has been nice to you so far. Okay, now. D goes for, oh, this is Eisen. Eisen! I will always forget. Because you all be changing your TikTok handle all the time. All of you. Welcome, Eisen. Happy you're here. Okay? Now, I have an answer for number 3. I have also, okay, paranoid and D goes for number 3, both of you. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Reyes. So, number 1 cannot be. Why? This is for passive form of voice, but the question is in active form. Okay? So, cannot. Okay? Had been. Now, had been is past perfect. Again, when you see the word had, right? Had. Tense-wise, it will be talking about past perfect. And when you say past perfect, remember what I told you just now? Past perfect continuous. It needs 2 past actions. Okay. Cannot. Okay. Have been. Okay. Have been sailing would be present perfect, correct? Has and have. Remember, present perfect, continuous. That would mean to say, again, we just talked about it earlier. When you talk about present perfect, has done, has spoken, have taken, or like continuous would be have been taking, has been sailing, something like that. These are for actions that started in the past. In the past, plus it's still ongoing in the present. Okay. And obviously for this case, it says here will end their journey next month. That would mean to say they are still currently doing this. So you are correct to say the answer is number 3, present perfect continuous. Okay. Would have been cannot, because would have been is conditional perfect continuous tense. This is going to be hypothetical, but no, this is not. Okay. So you're right to say it's number 3. Hello, thank you for sharing the live, people. Hi, Kyler. I would assume I would read this as Kyler, right? Shizu, hello. Now, welcome, people. Do I have anyone here who's secondary students? Because today is the start of the O-level orals. Now, number 7, people, let's go. By emerging first in the photography contest, I had won blank myself a pair of free tickets to the zoo. Yes, I Sec 1. Okay, hi, Kyler. Yes, for your information, Kyler, the Sec 4's O-level oral English started actually today. And so we are posting the questions in our social media channels to get, younger students in the secondary cohort. If you want to, revise, it would be good to see what are the questions that comes out in the coming days. And we'll be providing model responses as well. Now, you're answering what? 3, 3, 3, 4. I had 1 4 myself, is it? You are correct. Well done. Where's my bell? Hold on, I'm gonna look for my bell. I like to ring a bell. Here, it's literally right in front of me. My goodness. Very good. Yeah, no school for 3 days. You're very happy, is it? Okay, 1 for myself. Okay, 1 for myself. Very good. It's number 3. Okay. Now, number 8. The newspapers are on the table blank. You need to refer to them to complete your project. There is a word here that kind of means like if. Something like that. Okay, do you know which word? Let's see. Give it a try, peeps. Peeps. Oh my God. The terms I'm using in this live. Okay, paranoid goes for number 4. Anyone who wants to get agree with paranoid's answer or try a different one. I'm gonna give you about 8 more seconds, okay? Then we discuss what's the right answer. Kyler goes agrees with paranoid as well. Okay, you are both correct. Very good. Should here functions like there should has 2 function, okay? The model one, and then the conditional should. You know the one where you say you should do this, you should pay attention to class. That's the model verb. Okay, the one where you want to emphasize necessity or like obligation. Okay, but for this case we are using the conditional should, as in it's like if, hypothetical statement. Okay, conditional, hypothetical. Okay, so it functions like if. Okay, very good. It's number 4. That's the correct answer. I'm on a computer. Okay, that's nice. Hopefully your viewing experience is much easier in that sense. But yeah, so like you have a bigger screen, you know what I mean? So now let's move on to number 9. Okay, let's go. The student blank speech I like has been selected to represent the school in an oratorical contest. You are going for number 4. Anyone who wants to agree with Eisen's answer? Eisen, thank you for renaming yourself. Oh, no. You're using your other account, correct? Thank you for sharing live, Eisen. Okay, now 5 more seconds for those of you who want to give this number a try. Let's go. Also an easy one, no? Paranoid agrees with your answer, Eisen. All right, both of you are correct. Now we are talking about basically ownership here. Whose speech are we talking about, right? Ownership. So the answer is indeed number 4, whose. Okay, we talk about the speech being the speech of the student. Too late. It's okay, Shizu, you can try other questions. All right, let's end strong for our grammar sets of grammar questions. Let's go. Sure, who's the moderator? I am moderating myself. See, I'm gonna type here, huh? Hi, hi. That's me. Okay, now, okay, so please behave, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm the one moderating here. We all have to work together to create a safe space for everyone to learn English in this live session. Yeah. Okay. Last question, ladies and gentlemen. You have to admit that the idea is original blank you. Okay, a commonly tested question. Question tag. Huh. Now, now, let's see. Hello, hello. Someone who don't have a TikTok handle. How do you manage to do that? Oh, very interesting. Eisen goes for number 1. Anyone who wants to try as well, about 10 seconds. Let's give it a try. Okay. There might be like there might be a cause of confusion here. Okay. Okay, Anna goes for number 2. Okay, we have 1 and 2. Okay. Now, 1, 1, 1. Okay. I am actually quite happy that none of you answered number 3. Okay, because some students, right, they never read. They don't read. They just go and say, this one question tag, I see the word have, then I just do haven't you here. That's a careless mistake. Have here, remember there are 2 kinds of have. One have is an ordinary verb. That means to say to have something, to obtain something, right? The one that you use to form tenses, right? Like have taken, have lost, have gone. That have is an auxiliary one. It's a helping verb, okay? But this case, we're not talking about the auxiliary have. We are talking about the ordinary verb, which is have. So when you talk about an ordinary verb, you are left with do, does, and did, okay? So this is positive, of course. So we need a negative for this. And so have is not past tense. So you also use you. So for this case, we use number 1. Number 1, don't you? All right, very good. So this is very important for me. This is a very important part for me to highlight. Some of you get very complacent when you are taking examinations, especially when like, I revise so much. There are times when you just breeze through the content of the question without fully comprehending it. Because the moment you saw the question mark in the end, some of you will do a shortcut and say, I know this is question tag. Let me just pick out keywords. And then you pick out the keyword have, then you just automatically assume it's haven't. Okay? Read it properly. Don't let overconfidence take over you. Okay? It is plus minus. Correct? Positive, negative, negative, positive. Yes? The statement is positive because you have to admit, you know it's positive. Okay? What makes a statement negative? You know it's negative when the words not, never, rarely, hardly, barely. If it's there, then the statement is negative. You have to turn it into positive. Okay? But we don't see those words. So the statement is positive. Okay? All right, good job. We just finished our vocabulary, our grammar questions. So now we are moving on to vocab. Okay, we ready, people? Thank you so much. Welcome to those of you who just joined the live. Very quickly, I'll just have to quickly let you know before we proceed to vocab questions. Writers at Work is currently running a promotion for all of you who are interested to join our regular programs. We have comprehensive English programs here where we help you prepare for paper 1, 2, and 4. That means composition or essay writing, paper 2, language use, and then paper 4, oral. Okay, I know you're all looking for a more effective, targeted way to prepare for your examinations, which is welcome to the examination season, everyone. If you sign up for 12 lessons, you get 2 lessons for free. That's over $400 of savings. So feel free to join us here, meet our experienced Writers at Work teachers. Let us help you in your examinations. Okay. Now, Miffy Toki, do you have private lessons? We currently do not offer private lessons for our regular program classes, but we do have small class sizes. So feel free to join us in our regular programs. One thing I can tell you when it comes to private lessons, we do have The one closest we have at the moment is the PSLE Oral One-to-One Intensive Coaching. It's a holiday program that we're offering for August 11th, which is a school holiday for all of you. Yes. Drink water, Jer. I love Elmo. Thank you for the important reminder to take care of our throats. Yes. Where are your locations? Okay, Omatoas. I'm so sorry if I'm not reading it correctly. We have 8 locations in total. I can type it in for you because I am moderating for myself. There's Clementi. There's Tiong Bahru, which is, I am currently in Tiong Bahru. Tiong Bahru, there's Bishan, testing my knowledge on the 8 branches, right? Ang Mo Kio. Hold on. Bukit Timah. Bukit Timah. Marine Parade for the people in the east. And Aogang. Did I type 8 branches, everyone? Can you count for me, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Yes, I did. Okay. Which day in Bishan, please? Okay. Omatoas, if you are interested about what lesson are we running for which day in Bishan, please DM me with your contact number or your email. I will get our center manager to reach out to you, because our center manager will be able to tell you the proper schedule for Bishan. And then if you have further questions, they will be able to answer all your questions. Ken? Mifitoki, how many students per class? We do a maximum of 10. Normally, we have 10 to 12 students in a class. But of course, that's the maximum. Sure, which is the main branch? What do you mean the main branch? As in, what do you mean? Like, how do you understand what it takes for a branch to be called the main branch? I want to understand your take on what a main branch is, Aizen. Okay. So, Mifitoki, I would love to discuss all the details with you. So, feel free to DM us your contact number. I'll forward it to our center manager. So, at least we can share with you product brochures on what each class entails, which level, and schedule as well. Like first center. Sorry. Okay, let me take note of this now. Do you want to, I have the number now, Omatoas. You may want to, I'm going to delete this one, so people don't just anyhow contact you with this number. Okay. How, can you delete your own comment, is it? Because I don't want to be, I don't want people to randomly text you. But I have the number, Omatoas. I'll forward it. I'll get them to reach out to you as soon as possible. But I can only give it after my live session, yeah. I promise you I'm forwarding it, yes. Aizen, the first center. Our first center is actually in Clementi. Yes, So that very first center that we started around 13 years ago. Wow, can you believe it? Okay. Everyone, let's move on to our vocabulary questions. Let's go. Can? We're ready, yeah? Now, the man blanked the rope tightly as he was afraid that he would fall. Okay. What do you think is the most precise word to use to complete this sentence? Give it a try. If you aren't sure, it's fine. I'm not going to pounce on you if you give me a wrong answer. Let's all just try. And then we learn the correct one. Okay. The man hauled the rope tightly, lugged the rope tightly, clasped the rope tightly, or dragged. Aizen goes for number 1. Anyone else wants to give this a try? About 10 seconds. Let's see. 1, 1, 3. Interesting choices. I see. Okay, so now we have 1, 1, 3, 3. Very interesting. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we have 3 person with 1. Okay, I'm going to define the word for you very quickly because these words are very close to each other. After the definitions, you have the freedom to choose if you want to stay with your original answer or you want to change your mind. Okay, first, dragged. I think we're all like, if you drag something, you pull something, right? Pull something, okay, with effort. But dragging would mean to say that that something is pulled along the ground, right? It's not fully carried. Now, clasp means to grasp something firmly. Grasp firmly or tightly. Okay. Now, lugged, as in Luggg, that would mean to say carry something. Okay. Heavy. Heavy or awkwardly. And then hauled would mean, okay, pull or drag. Now, back to the question. The man blanked the rope tightly as he was afraid he would fall. Okay. I think from the definition itself, there's one word that's actually the most accurate of them all, which is, congratulations to those of you who answered number 3. Hold cannot is because when you hold something, you actually pull it or you drag it. But the man here is actually literally grasping the rope very tightly. So the word we're looking for is clasp. All right. Now, Waiver. That's exactly what I just saw. Holding, right? When you're holding, is like this. You're pulling something. You're pulling something. However, the man blanked the rope tightly as he was afraid he would fall. So the man was not doing this. The man was literally doing this. So he's not hauling. He is holding on to the rope tightly, right? You could imagine from the way the sentence was structured, the man was hanging. He's not pulling something. He is literally holding onto the rope to carry his weight and not fall. Okay? So hauling, clasping. All right. Now, number 12, we clear. Jamila blank after learning that she was not selected as a star pupil. Okay, now you have a set of idiomatic expressions. Here, idioms, ladies and gentlemen. Remember not to take them literally because idioms have special meaning. Let's test your idiomatic expression knowledge, if you are aware what these idioms mean. We have 3-3. Sanrio, Melody, and Aizen are agreeing to the same number. You're both saying that Jamila pulled a long face. Now remember, she was not selected, so she may be sad because she was not selected. Must be 3. Okay, we also have number 2 and we have number 3. So 2 choices. Okay, let's talk about the ones you never chose first. I'm happy that you didn't choose 1 and 4 because 1 and 4 are both incorrect. But it's good to know what they mean. So when you break the ice, that means to say you wanna start a task or to overcome initial shyness. Okay, break the ice, overcome initial shyness or awkwardness. That's why, for example, let's say when there's a talk or a seminar, right? When the speaker starts, sometimes he plays a game at the beginning, or sometimes he does a joke. He says a joke because to break the ice, because everyone looks so serious and awkward. So he did an icebreaker, something like that. Okay, now break the ice. Okay, shed crocodile tears. I love this idiom. When you shed crocodile tears, when someone cries crocodile tears, right? It's not real. Okay, that means to say they are showing fake, okay, false, or insincere sadness. So maybe like this very maybe a boy bullied someone, okay, and then after the bullying, right, he was reported, and then he didn't want to be punished, so he was but then he wasn't really sorry in real life, so crying crocodile tears or shedding crocodile tears. Okay, now you all said number 3. A lot of you said number 3. When you're pulling a long face, that basically means to say you look sad or disappointed. So does Jamila look sad and disappointed because she was not selected as a star pupil? Yes. So you're correct. The answer is number 3. She pulled a long face. But sure, how come number 2 sat on the fence? Okay. This one is quite easy to understand because this is the fence, right? And then if you're sitting there, there's 2 sides where you're not going to. When you're sitting on the fence, that basically means you're not making a decision. You're delaying a decision and you're remaining neutral. You're not choosing any side. So you are staying in the middle. Okay? You delay making a decision because perhaps you don't know which one to choose, or you want to remain neutral. Mm-hmm. Okay? So good job, people. The answer is number 3. Well done. Mm-hmm. Now, number 13, the water in the tank was so blank that we could not see the fishes clearly. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, this is the challenging part about vocab. It tests more than your skill of learning what the meaning of each word is. It's also, sometimes they give you very related words, but the goal for you is to also understand the subtle differences between these words, because sometimes they may all be just related. Okay? Let's give this one a try. You're all saying 4. Oh, you're all agreeing to the same answer. So you may all be correct or you may all be wrong. In that case, I shall review. Okay, hold on. Not the entire question does not show. Okay. In that case, you are all correct. Very good. So firstly, you're talking about a liquid. Okay. Now, you don't really use dim to describe a liquid. Okay. Dim means not bright. Okay. Or it means it's unclear. Okay. So contextually, it's normally used for light rather than visibility through water. So you see, right, dim is very close to dull, hazy, and murky, right? They're all words that almost have the same meaning, but contextually, they're all used in different contexts, okay? Dull, okay, when something is dull, that means to say it's lacking brightness or interest, okay? Now you say you can describe a performance. The performance is very dull, okay? Or the colors are dull, okay? So it's visuals, but not for clarity of water, okay? Now how about hazy? Hazy, unclear. You know the problem when we have so much air pollution, we have haze, that the air has haze, right? Is hazing. So unclear also, it means also unclear, but always used for the context, usually, or misty, but always used in the context of air. Now, murky is then our word, ladies and gentlemen, because when something is murky, it's dark and dirty. Dark and dirty, or difficult to see through. And contextually, you use murky for when you're talking about water, clarity of water. So you are all correct to say it's number 4. You see, right? The option they gave you are very close to each other, but that's exactly what I mean when I say you're being tested on your ability to check how these words differ from each other contextually. Okay? That's how you test your vocabulary skills, everyone. The more precise you are with your choice of words, the better you will score for not just vocab MCQ, but also for when you write your compositions, for when you write your essays, okay? Or for when you answer comprehension closed questions wherein you have to provide the word on your own, okay? So some beaches are murky. Agree. They are, sadly. Now, everyone, we are done with our vocabulary and grammar questions. I will now proceed to the very important part that you all should be facing first, especially for national exams, PSLE to O level. Let's proceed to our oral questions. Are you all ready? Now, I shall continue with what we have started yesterday, which means let's tackle environmental conservation. Why? By the way, I'm tackling commonly tested themes here, which can apply to both primary 6 students and those of you who are taking the O levels. For today, today is day 1 of PSLE Oral English, and today's questions were actually on problem solving skills. Okay, so that is why I still prefer to choose environmental conservation, because it has not come out in the O level questions yet as well. Also, environmental conservation is a commonly tested theme for prelims in and even PSLE, past PSLE questions. It's an evergreen one. Okay, so let's explore different angles. I'll show you some questions. Try to give an angle at which you want to give your answer from, so that you teach each other on what are the ways you can actually attack these questions to help you stand out in your responses and make it personal for you. Okay, I want to start with this one. How can families conserve water effectively? Now, very importantly, it's important that you unpack your question very. You have to learn to understand what the question is asking of you. What does it mean to conserve? Okay, first question you should ask yourself is, what does it mean when you are conserving something? Conserve, this is a very important word because this word will appear, especially when you're dealing with environmental type of questions. Conserve means what? What do you think is the meaning of conserve? So conserve means to keep, okay, and protect something from damage, change, or waste. In this case, since we're talking about water, it applies to all three. Like this, okay? How do you not waste water? I need very specific answers from you, okay? We're talking about water. Now, Sanrio Melody, you said not wasting water. How? Okay? I need something very specific because there are many ways for you to make sure you don't waste water and to make sure you conserve it. So now we understand the meaning of conserve. Conserve means you keep and protect it, okay? So it doesn't get wasted, it doesn't get changed for the worse, or it doesn't get damaged. So anyone who wants to give this one a try, I have one. Let me give you one example, and then you can also share yours. This one is very important because when you provide your oral answer, number one, you have to be specific. Number two, you have to have good ideas. This is a good time to really increase your content knowledge on this subject. Okay, so first, I can perhaps tell you, conserve water by saving the water from the shower as I wait for the water to turn hot. You know, sometimes, right, you turn on the shower and you wait for it to go, you turn it on either side for it to go cold or go hot. And normally when you shower, for example, in a cold weather, you want hot water. So you end up waiting for the water to go hot. You just throw away all that water, right? That's a lot of water. If imagine everyone in the household does that, and how long, it depends also on how long your shower manages to do it. Lucky for you if it converts immediately. But for some people, they have to wait for some time. And in such a ways to just throw all that water while waiting for it to go warm or waiting for it to go cold, turn hot or cold, okay? So that's one very specific way to actually talk about conserving water. Now, anyone else wants to give this a try? How else can you actually conserve water effectively? Anyone? Families, huh? So it has to be, you know, talk about it conceptually because there are things you can do in school, but this one is talking about family, so it's very specific. Do you do something at home to make sure that you conserve water? I need at least two people to, two more ideas from all of you, please. Let's try. Close the tap when not using. A very simple but a very important one. Thank you, Sanrio Melody. Yes. Mm-hmm. When not using. Use a cup. Now, I love Emil. I like that idea, although that will be very good to put out, especially when explained properly. I tell you what I mean. I really love because Elmo and Sanrio, your answers are connected. Okay, I tell you why. Okay, so let's just say let's talk about the most common things you do at home to use water every day. You shower, right? You drink, you brush your teeth. Those are the most common ones. Okay, you wash the dishes, and then you wash clothes. Okay, for me, straightforward. These are the most common things that you use water for at home. Now, when you're using the tap, a lot of you, especially let's say when you're brushing your teeth, shh, it's just on, and then done. But when you actually catch the water with your cup, you don't need to keep it on because you have a container to put the water in. Mhm. And that helps you with conserving water. Okay. So not only for brushing your teeth, it could also be, for example, for depending on how you're washing your clothes. Some of you are already using washing machines now. So, but some of you are still like manually washing your clothes for some delicate clothes that you don't want to put in the washing machine. That's another thing. Instead of just washing something under the um, tap with running water, catch it with a basin and then wash it inside the basin. It may help you to wash more. Less using washing machine. Sanrio Melody, that one you can actually explore um, expounding that properly. As in, you are correct, Sanrio Melody, by saying that, let's say, for example, there's 5 of you in the household. Then all 5 of you wash your clothes separately. So one person washes on Monday, so uses a washing machine. Another person uses on Tuesday, uses a washing machine. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you are all family members, you're not like, because some people they live live with other people who are not families, but we're talking about families here. So to save water, you can put together clothes and not you don't need to like, oh, today I wash mommy's clothes, tomorrow I wash daddy's clothes, then the following day I wash my siblings' clothes. It would have saved you more time actually and saved you more water if, for example, I wash everyone's white clothes today, right? And so you put it all together instead of doing 5 rounds in the washing machine, you did 1 round, right? So that's good, Sanrio. Okay, effectively, that means to say um, mindful of washing machine use. Very good. I'm very happy with what I'm getting from all of you. Very good. Okay. So we talked about the tap, even the usage of washing machine, being more effective with using it such that you don't waste water. Even the use of shower. I'm telling you, even my primary 3 students, about a year ago, I had this discussion with them. They were giving me some very good ideas. They even shared with me what their grandparents and parents are doing. That the one who said, sure, my grandma catches the water that we use in the shower while we wait for it to go cold and hot. What does she? She went on to even explain what was the water, the excess water used for. Then she said the water that she managed to catch in the pail, she uses it to flush the toilet bowl, and then she uses some of it to also water her plants because the water is clean, right? You're just waiting basically for the water to go hot or cold. So because it's clean, then she also uses it to water her plants. So nothing goes wasted. They were all used. Okay. Good job, everyone. Very happy with your ideas. Let's move on to another question. Okay. So that you get more ideas. Now, why is it important to have green spaces? This one is important, very important, because contextually in Singapore, this is a big thing. Okay, so why is it important to have green spaces like parks and nature reserves? There's many different angles you can attack this with, and so it's good that you know what are the different angles you can use for this question. Sure, can you see my answer? Aizen, hand wash. Is it hand wash, Aizen, or another one that I didn't see? It is for photosynthesis. I really love the technical use, scientific use of that term. I will actually definitely accept that. And of course, Sanrio Melody. Aizen, am I correct? Answer my question, Aizen. Is it the hand wash, or am I missing out another thing? So Sanrio Melody. Remember, I know because it's a live session for fresh air. Very good. Aizen and Sanrio, these two things are related, but please make sure that you have to practice presenting this point on your own, because now you cannot be telling during the oral exam, right? It's important to have green spaces for photosynthesis, full stop. Or for fresh air, full stop. Cannot, Make sure you properly explain what is this for. How does it benefit you? How does it benefit everyone else who are living around the area? Okay, so let's see. So let's change the color this time, so a fresher look. Okay, now you all talked about photosynthesis. You all talked about fresh air. Let's put a proper term for it. They reduce urban heat. How do they do that? Yes, because of photosynthesis that happens in the leaves of the plants, and therefore they're able to produce. They're able to reduce. You actually do notice that, right? When you go to a place that has no trees at all, or when you stay under the shade of a tree, somehow it's cooler. Somehow you have more fresh air. It's not magic. It's photosynthesis at work. Okay, they reduce the urban heat, and so this one not only helps you, it also helps the animals and the wildlife in that area. Okay, so benefits benefits people plus wildlife. Okay, so think about these things. When you talk about benefits, it doesn't just benefit you. Even the birds and the butterflies around that area, they benefit from it. Now, any other angle? Okay, encourage more people. Okay, I see it. Aizen, you talked about encourage more people to exercise, more shade from the trees. I like that. I'm gonna add that here. Okay, let's talk about it in park connectors. Okay, encourage walking, cycling, or aligning. I need you to give SG Singapore context answer, then it makes you answer more specific. Aligning with active SG health goals. Okay, so I think you understand that we do have park connectors. So a lot of their parks are actually connected again with each other. So it's much easier for you to walk around with your family and cycle around as well. And even in some areas that do not have them yet, development are ongoing. So when you have more walking and cycling available, then you can connect this to what? Family bonding becomes better. Right? So having these green spaces not only helps with, it helps you physically, but it also helps you for mental well-being, correct? Family bonding. So mental wellness is also, what do you call this? Mental wellness is also being taken. Okay, now we've started with immediate, like, oh, it helps me, I have fresh air. Oh, it also helps the birds and the wildlife. Okay, and then it also helps my mental well-being and my family. We get to bond together. Now let's make it even bigger. If we have more green spaces like parks and nature reserve, right? This would what do you call this? which one is it? Protecting green spaces. This would support foods for the birds. Very good. Park connector. This would support Singapore's pledge to have emissions by 2030. Okay, this is also for collective effort across all countries in the world to lower down our emissions. Okay, and then even you can also say reduce what? Reduce stress, study reflection, make it more relatable to you as a student. More healthier body. Okay, Sanrio Melody, that's a good point, but there is a gap inside that you need to fill when you explain it, huh? Because you cannot just go and say, oh, it's important to have green spaces because it will result to healthier body. You understand, right? You have to make sure that when you produce your response, you arrange it so nicely that they understand the connection between green spaces and healthier body. Okay? You can even go all the way to say healthier mind and healthier body. So how do you connect this properly? So you can say there's many important benefits of having green spaces like parks, nature reserves, park connectors. That's very big here in Singapore. You can even mention like the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve. You can even mention the names of the parks, okay? Especially the ones that are your favorites, or MacRitchie, right? So mention them. So do the proper connection. I would say amongst all the most important benefits that they have, I'm gonna point out three. They have very good physical benefits and mental health benefits. Perhaps you want to do these two, or you can also go and say, and it will also help all the other animals in the wildlife. Okay, so you can start with how does it help me physically? So then start doing the explanation that would lead to there. Do the power of three, give specifics. If you can name the parks that you like, also good. Okay. Now, very good, everyone. So we did a few angles here, reducing our urban heat which benefits you and the animals. You also talked about these parks and park connectors encourage walking and cycling, which means to say you can have more opportunities to bond with your family or even friends, which would lead to better mental wellness, right? Mental health, aligning with active SG health goals as well. And then you can also say it helps to reduce stress and support Singapore's pledge to have their emissions by 2030. Okay, so make it specific. Do them point by point, and then give an example for each. Good job, everyone. Now let's move on to another question. Yes, let's cover as many as we can. Now, okay, let's do this. What role do children play in environment conservation? Okay, because some of you might say, I'm so young, sure. This is not my problem. This is like adult problems. There is actually something you can do. Okay, now give me one. What role do you actually play in environment conservation? Give this a try. Or what can you do? At least if you are there, drop one quick answer for me and let's discuss that. Let's go. Perhaps after this question, let's talk about a different theme. Let's jump out of environment and consider another commonly tested theme. But first, let's get through this. Eisen went on to say children can recycle plastic. So you can take part in recycling, okay? Can adopt. Habits. Recycling, okay? And please add in something that we have discussed earlier, which you can connect here earlier. We just talked about conservation of what? And that is definitely something you can add, right? Recycling, and saving water. You can even make it even better and say at home and school. correct? Recycling. So recycling and conservation of water can be done. So even when you're so young, you're never too young to help to help conserve the environment. Okay. What else? What else? I need at least one more or two more. The children could have activities such as planting. Agree? Very good. I'm happy to see that. So it's very good that you talked about initiative because this is something you can definitely do. It's good that you put forth ideas like this. Okay, help plant trees. Could be planting programs or initiatives, right? That can be done. What other things? There are more things that you can actually volunteer for, not just for tree planting, but you can also volunteer to what? Remember, when you talk about environment, you talk about land. You can also talk about water. I'm giving you a clue, huh? And air. This all constitutes the environment, right? So can use environment friendly materials. I like that. Can you give me an example, Eisen, on what are environment friendly materials? I need to be specific with that. That's like a main point that you can say, but remember later on you have to expound and elaborate your main point. That's what I'm asking you right now. Very good. I am waiting for that. Beach cleanup. Use less plastic, so reduce usage. Of plastic. Now, use environment-friendly materials. So remember when you drop these answers, because sometimes the main problems of student when talking about environment is that they have so many ideas in their head. Okay. Now, how can I make sure that I don't get so overwhelmed? There's too many things in my head, so I just blabber and blabber and blabber. Hold on. Give me a moment. I need to. All right. So use biodegradable materials. Use less plastic. I see. Now, especially for environment, like I have so many ideas. So sometimes my problem is not really having an idea. My problem is like I have so many things in my head. Okay. So here's one thing I can tell you, especially when it comes to conservation and so on. I always tell my students, think of 3 things. Okay, power of 3. Expound on these 3 nicely. Okay. So when you talk about what you can do is like, what do you mean power of 3, Chair? If you're being asked on what you can do, you can talk about the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and then give very important specific things on these 3. Okay. Now, what else? It doesn't need to be 3R. Maybe you can just use what do you call this? What you do on your own, what you do with your family, or what you do with your friends, right? That's another way to see it. But always think of 3 very big, powerful ideas and expound on them, specify them, give examples. So you don't overwhelm your head like, oh my God, I talk about water. Oh, but I also talk about food waste. But I also want to talk about recycling. Oh, but I also want to talk about volunteering, right? Stick to 3 big ideas, one that you can explain and expound very nicely and properly put them out. Firstly, secondly, lastly, wrap it all up. Go back to the question. That's it. Attend talks. On the way, it's difficult for me as an O-level student. Ferrero, this is not okay. Listen, it's okay. If it's difficult, it's okay. Why? Because these types of questions are also evergreen. That's why I always tell my students, if you're O-level and PSLE, this works for both. Because the skills you have to learn for oral are transferable skills that you will need. I'm going to tell you this, Ferrero Roshan. This is even hard even for adults, right? So the most important thing for when you're preparing is make sure that you increase your content knowledge, but at the same time, you keep practicing to talk, right? So now I'm helping you to expand the different angles you can attack, you can explore for this type of question, but I'm also teaching you how to organize your thoughts. That's why it's very important that you follow a response framework, and at the same time, order them one by one. That's why I tell you the power of three is very powerful. Three powerful ideas. Give examples, elaborate properly, give proper signposting. You're good to go. Okay? So very important. Now, we are done with this question, or is anyone attend talks? I will also like that. So attend talks, that would mean to say, self-educate is very important. Self-education. So it could be talks or seminars. When schools offer you these options and opportunities to learn, you listen. That even alone is a good thing to answer, right? Because a lot of students will remember what students are likely to fall for when it comes to environment questions is that you all, especially for environment, right? You all have something to say, but environment theme, what I notice with my students is that you all give very big words that are never explained properly. And then you all never structure your answers properly. Because environment, you all know it's a commonly tested theme. So I know you all prepare for it. But then goes the question, are you able to organize your answer properly? And are you able to specify your answers properly? Okay, so it doesn't have to be a lot. It just needs to be powerful. 3 of them that you can explain properly, that will be good. Okay, now let's actually try to explore a different theme this time, everyone. Okay, let's see. Daily routines and time management. Are you all ready to discuss this theme? By the way, Ferrero Roshan, are you taking the O levels? Let's say as in this week, or have you done it today? I'm actually very interested. I'm very interested to know. Congratulations to those of you who has done the day 1 for O-level oral today, by the way. Have we posted? Because we are posting, yup, on Wednesday. Oh my God, topic today was not that bad. Yes, I know, we are posting, by the way, Ferrero. We're posting the questions every day. So I'm not sure if the team has already posted for today, but we know that the topic is on problem solving skills, right? So the video was actually about a father and a son doing like a zipline toy. And so they were re-experimenting on how to make it work. And then so the questions were about, do you find this activity meaningful for planned response? And then the spoken interaction were, how can schools, cultivate problem solving skills among students? And then I think the other one is like, this skills, bringing them to the workplace, something like that. So do note for our erosion, I know you're continuing your revision, right? We will continue to post the questions at the moment we receive them. We will post them out. We are also actually posting model responses because I know some of you are actually, who has not done the oral yet, you are trying to predict the upcoming question based on what already came out. At the same time, you're all continuing to revise. Even those of you who are not taking O-level or PSLE students, it's good to know these things, expose yourself to what are trends, trending questions that are being used during examinations. Yeah, okay. Now let's talk about daily routines and time management. Which is actually something related to today's question. But I always tell my students, when you prepare, thank you for sharing the live, everyone. And thank you for those of you who just recently followed. Let's do one question of this before we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to those of you who just got into the live, okay? Now, how do you balance homework and leisure time? This is very important. I would say this is very important because responsibility, personal values are commonly tested themes. At the same time, time management skills are also themes that you can explore and insert on many different other themes. Okay, so give me some ideas on how are you able to balance schoolwork and me time, for example. Okay, what are the things you can do to make sure that you give yourself, mental health is a very I would say it's a hot topic that may come out for examinations. Use Pomodoro. I see, Eisen. I'm happy that you're starting to use this very specific technique, but make sure you can explain that, yeah? So you start talking about the Pomodoro method. You can explain that, yeah? Make sure you don't just drop the words and make sure you can expound on this. Timetable. Now, Pomodoro, where you can further expand, it's like I use a Pomodoro method. I give myself this amount of time to work and this amount of time to rest, and then I continue on. So you can follow like a 25-minute work nonstop, no distractions, and then give yourself a 5-minute rest. But of course, for me, for example, I personally try that technique. 25-5 doesn't work for me. What works for me sometimes is 1 full hour of working and then give myself a longer break after that. So the whole point of Pomodoro technique is that give yourself little bursts of work, but also little bursts of rest in between. Okay, timetable is a good one, very important one. What you can do with timetable or time blocking is a very powerful answer when it comes to time management. Okay, so you have to make sure you're able to explain this properly. So firstly, to explain timetable properly or scheduling properly, it's good to know how do you do the timetable. Do you use a notebook? Mm-hmm. Do you use Google Sheets? Okay. Do you use an app? Right? Because it would be good to know, like, I actually, schedule my time using a calendar. Some people use an app. Some people use an actual calendar. Okay. So number one, it's good to know how you do it, in what manner, and then talk about the benefits after. So talk about the how first. Okay. And then you can talk about the why. Right? Okay. You can talk about the why so you know your priorities. Okay. The moment you know your priorities, it shows maturity on your answer. Examiners like that. Okay. So timetable, why? So you can prioritize. You can prioritize. You can also schedule both work and rest. The moment you don't plan, that's when you either go to the burnout path or you go to the procrastination path. You know what I mean, right? Without that timetable where you plan when to do this, when to rest, and when to do that, you go both on two very different directions. No timetable could mean you just work, study. No rest, burnout, mental health gone, very stressed. Or no timetable could also mean to say, I do it later. And then, there's already examination. And that's the importance of having a plan. You learn to prioritize what's work, but you also get to plan both work and rest. And that leads to what? It brings you back to the main point. The question is asking you, how do you balance homework and leisure time? Because remember, do not forget the question. Some of you just literally talks about things and then you didn't notice you were not answering the question. It talks about homework and it talks about leisure time. Okay, leisure time could be you resting. Leisure time could be you enjoying other things other than studying, right? It could be video games. It could be, talking to your friends. But when these things are planned, then they are done in moderation, enough for you to still, function as a human being in that sense. Okay. Now, so timetable, Pomodoro, what else? How do you balance any other? Let's do one last option before we close this up. So it talks about Pomodoro technique. That's how you manage your time. Timetable, making sure that you schedule work and rest and leisure time, so that things get prioritized without you burning out. Okay. Any other ideas on how to balance these things, everyone? Anyone who wants to give one more good idea? Let's try to go for at least 3 big ideas that we can expound on. Anyone? So timetable is good. Pomodoro is good. How else do you balance it? Or I can share with you. Thank you so much. I'll join tomorrow. Oh, you're welcome, Ferrero. Please do join tomorrow. I have a same live session. I start at 5:30. Yeah. Please remember to continue revising, but also get enough rest. I don't want you to be stressed on the day of your examination. Yeah. Okay, everyone. One last idea that I would like to share with you before we end the live for today on how to balance work and leisure time, or even this could be changed, right? The way the question will be asked could be, how do you balance study and rest, or how do you balance school life and family life? It could be changed differently, but the whole point is you have to know how techniques on how to balance two different sets of responsibilities. Okay, so another way to go about this is other than timetables and Pomodoro technique, you can also think about um, combining. What do I mean by that? You can also say, lastly, I balance homework and leisure time by combining the two things in one activity, the two goals in one activity. So when I do homework, my goal is to finish a work that's been given from school. When I do leisure time, my goal is to relax, right? I can actually do both. So, for example, combining them could also mean sometimes I actually do a homework with my friends. Because sometimes when I'm with them, we all work together. We are actually somehow more productive. We finish it quickly. And then we reward ourselves with a game of like a one full video game together. So we put it together and then we use the leisure as a reward to do the homework after doing the homework. So it could be in that sense, right? So you're able to balance it by finding ways on putting the two things together healthily. Okay, so that's another way to see it. So, everyone, we're definitely exploring other themes on the next couple of days. And to those of you who are interested, we are posting the O level questions for English every day. As soon as we get them, we'll try our best. And then we're giving out model responses as well. So, yes, to those of you who are new here, please welcome. I'm Teacher Mitsuko. Please follow us if you have not yet. Right as a Work is currently offering a promotion. If you're willing to, if you're happy, if you want to join our regular programs and have that more targeted practice for English before your examination, please do join us. We're running a 12 plus 2 promotion. If you sign up for 12 lessons, you get 2 lessons for free. That's over $400 of savings. Join us here. Our experienced and trained Right as a Work teacher will be happy to help you prepare for exam. And of course, give you the important skills you need to master the English language and use it as a tool for you to communicate well with everyone, both in school and after school. Yeah. So everyone, thank you so much. I'll see you again tomorrow at 5:30. Have a good night and all the best to the students doing the O-level examinations. Goodbye.